morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to coverage of the U.S. Amateur Championship from here at Strokers in Palm Harbor, Florida. This event presented by the American Pool Players Association. Our streaming coverage brought to you by our friends at PoolDog.com. I'm your host, Jason Bowman. This is not Double J Jeremy Jones. However, it is former U.S. Amateur Champion Raymond Linares. Jeremy's going to be in a little bit later today. Raymond agreed to drop by and jump in the booth with us, do some commentary. Also joined by another special guest here. Peek your head in, Mr. Unknown. If you've seen the recent pool documentary, what's it called again, Raymond?
The Great Unknown.
The Great Unknown. Here he is, folks. Andrew Cleary.
Scouting the competition.
So really a true treasure here, folks, a national treasure, if you will, joining us. I'm going to give the headset over to you guys and let you guys take us through this next match.
Sure.
We got Jason Richko. His opponent is Greg Meehan. Before we go to the table, I want to do a quick word from our sponsors at PoolDog.com.
Tired of the same old when you're buying billiard supplies? Come shop with the big dogs at PoolDog.com. You want pool cues? We've got over 700. Balls, cases, accessories, no problem. Want help with your game? How does hundreds of free training articles sound? Want to shop offline? We'll mail you a free catalog. Hit us up online, PoolDog.com, or call 866-843-3294.
All right, so it looks like we have Jason Richko versus Greg Meehan at the 2019 U.S. Amateur Championships. Again, this is Raymond Linares. I'm with Andrew Cleary. We're watching this match. I guess we're starting with 8-ball. I didn't see the lag, but in this tournament, whoever wins the lag has choice of break or the game. So looks like Richko's breaking us off. Yeah, that 14 just held up. So it's an open table.
So is the format you can pick your game?
Yeah.
Game you want if you win?
Right. So if you win the
game?
lag, then you can pick either the break or the game.
Okay.
And then if you pick the break, then your opponent picks the game. And if you pick the game, then your opponent gets to break.
Okay.
So there's some like strategy on which way to go. I know most players, I think now, will just take the break and start from a game that, you know, likely their opponent's going to pick 8-ball because it's more likely more defensive. You're not going to maybe see somebody run the set out. I know the year that I played and won, I picked 9-ball every time because I played way better 9-ball. And it worked out, but, you know, that's dangerous. You can have somebody put a package on you. So it looks like Greg's starting with stripes. He's got the 15 and 6 are tied up. That's the only real problem ball.
Yeah, that's probably the reason I wouldn't have picked stripes, although a few of them are hanging. I don't know how to break that 15 out.
Yeah, it's tough. He can't really use the, I guess it's the 9 on the left side rail there because the 3's kind of blocking that carom line if he gets tied up against it. So he's going to have to try and find a way into it, and I think the more he picks off balls, the harder that's going to become. So
that could work right there. I can tell from this angle.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah,
he's got kind of like a little bit of a break.
But you got to worry about that 8-ball. You can't slam into it.
Yeah, so he's got to try and get back up to center table, but he's a little on the inside of it. So let's see if he can handle it. That's a nice shot there.
He might. Yeah. Can't tell if that 5's in the way.
Mm-hmm. So if he can break this open, I'm not sure. Yeah, it looks like he has. No, it looks like a little straight. He might have a slight angle, but not guaranteed position.
Yeah.
Yeah, he framed it. So Jason's a good player. He's based out of here in the Tampa area. I think he lives right now in Trinity, Florida. It's a suburb. But he plays out of Strokers regularly, and former U.S. Amateur champion. I think he won it back in 07. So Jason's got a ton of experience and should have the advantage now in this rack. You know, a lot of balls laying out there and tough to get to for Greg. So we'll see what Jason likes here.
The only thing I don't like right now is it looks like he's going to play this 6. Is that's the problem ball for stripes, so you got to get out.
Yeah, and for him it's kind of the problem ball too. But, it looks like he just played like a close-up safe, try and stick him on the 15.
I don't know if that worked.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. If he couldn't
that's
freeze him, I probably would have maybe gone off the right side of the 3 and gone up table towards the cluster and just left that ball tied up. Because now Greg's got a little pinch stop shot here that he can make. Yep. And I'm pretty sure they're playing on new cloth. So this is one of those shots where if you're on a table that's worn in, you're going to get a lot more bounce off that side cushion. With the slippery cloth, you can do like a drag draw shot and hold the cue ball pretty good.
Oh, okay.
He just hit it a little fat and a little hard. I think you could really drag that ball and slow it down. And with the slidey rails, you can probably float that ball in.
Well, solids aren't hanging here. That little cluster up top is still an issue.
Yeah. So I wonder how Jason's going to approach doing this. I mean, that 5 is a great break ball if he were underneath it a hair to go up, maybe to the short cushion and back into them.
You could play that 2 right now as well.
Yeah.
It's a trickier shot.
He might just play the 5 and then the 3 and try and go cross table to get a fuller angle where he can draw off that 2 and break open the cluster, I think. I think Jason recently switched to Synergy Q-Tech carbon fiber shaft. He used to play with maple shafts forever and just recently switched to it.
This could work, but he's up against the rail. He might want to just think about pocketing this ball and playing safe.
Yeah, I mean, he could just bank the 2 away, but looks like Jason had enough angle to try and mature something there. But now he's kind of in a bad spot again. I kind of like, from this spot, maybe just soft rolling on the 6, banking it away and leaving him close to the 4. Make your opponent try and come with a good shot. Because it's kind of hero ball if you try and, swing make the 1 and swing the cue ball around and, a lot of variables there.
I might want to freeze him on that. Play stop shot on that 6 ball. Freeze him on the 4?
Yeah. It's tough.
Yeah, he's got to use the bridge. This isn't easy.
Yeah, and then also, the tables are playing a little softer because of the new cloth. So that shot where you just roll the ball down in the pocket is a little bit easier, a little bit more manageable. See, I didn't like that approach going off the left because then you just leave it where it's at.
He also, he didn't fix his problem.
Yeah,
either.
exactly. The only way that works for you is if the 6 and 4 line up dead to the corner.
It doesn't look like it is.
Mm-mm. Quick shout out to Brian McBride and George Metz in the chat. What's up, guys?
This is interesting. He could break this.
Yeah,
ball
so
up
this
now.
is now kind of manageable, right? He can, cut the 1 in the side, and if I could favor one side or the other, I'd favor trying to hit the 4.
Yeah, because that'll break them both up.
Yeah.
Well.
He stunned it a little bit and came on the thin side. I think just a natural rolling ball would have gotten him a little bit better. And at that speed, because he was a little thin, you got to hit the ball full to keep position. And now he might just go for the bank on the 4. Give himself a chance to win here.
It's a good shot.
Good shot.
I don't know if this ball goes.
Yeah. I think that stripe is occupying that pocket. I don't think he can slide by it, but you never know. Maybe
you could do.
Maybe if he goes a little rail first, he might
just roll up on a ball.
Yeah, I think he can go rail first and just kind of occupy the pocket a little bit. Yeah, so that's a good shot.
Works.
So now, as if I'm George, I'm thinking, there's 2 things. You can either play the defensive approach and make the 6 and try and leave the cue ball on the head rail somewhere where it's tough to make the 8. Or if you're a good offensive, aggressive player, you come cross table off this 12 ball and give yourself a bank on that 13 to where you can get natural position back at table. Let's see what George
I like pocketing this ball and drawing up close to my ball.
Yeah.
And just wedging him in there.
Yeah, I think
going
he's
for the
playing.
bank.
I think he's playing for the bank.
He might be playing for us.
I think he banked his wallet. Oh no, he's in the point. Oh, that's so brutal. I mean, that's not a. I think he just figured he'd be favored to make the bank with the new cloth and new pockets. And gave himself an offensive chance, but just misjudged the position. The slidey ball can get away from you, and it's kind of tough. So Jason's got ball in hand, rewarded for wedging that 6 ball in there. It would have been a good shot too if he would have gotten, like, let's say to the left of the table. He could have just played a carom off the stripe and made the 6 and leave the stripe blocking the 8 and the cue ball. And then that would have been jail for Jason. So that's a good kind of strategy point, too, of being to the left side of the table. You could have done a simple safety and kind of taken control and probably won the game. But Jason shooting the 8 and wins the first game. So for those of you watching online, we're at Strokers in Palm Harbor, best shrimp in the world for any pool room, bar none. I haven't been to the pool rooms in Louisiana. I hear they're pretty good too, but Jose Del Rio and staff here have a shrimping boat operation that they co-work with, and they get some really great stuff. So if you're ever in town, try the Freddy shrimp.
It's not on the menu.
It's not on the menu.
You have to
just ask for it.
You
can actually get anything Freddy style. Freddy style is like how they make the thing, and then it's the thing. Yeah. So you can get like steak tips Freddy style. They're pretty good.
I got a coffee this morning that was
Freddy style.
Yeah,
it's pretty
Freddy
good.
style coffee.
That's good.
Delicious.
Yeah, it's got a nice tang. Get the Freddy style coffee. All right, Jason, a break here.
So they're sticking with 8 ball.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, they got 5 games of 8 ball, and then.
So they have to stick with 8 ball.
Yeah, so they play 8 ball. So if you pick whatever game you pick first, you're racing to a total of 7 games.
Okay.
And then you start with 5 games of 8 ball, and then once the 5 games of 8 ball have lapsed, whatever the score is, then you go to 8 games of 9 ball. So since it's a race to 7, if you start with 9 ball, you can theoretically beat somebody 7-0, 7-1, and never get to the 8 ball.
I see.
So for the more aggressive players, that's something that totally happens if they start with 9 ball. You can do that. You know what I mean? Especially if you get the rack going and you break them good and get position, you can string them together pretty good.
I would prefer the 8 ball myself.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a little more forgiving of a game because you can rely on strategy.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's I think most players pick the break for that reason, knowing that their opponent's probably going to pick 8 ball. It's not common, I think, that somebody picks the break and then they give them 9 ball. You know what I mean? So, well, that was I guess unexpected miss.
Yeah.
Because he was open, the solids were open.
Straight in. There.
So, let me see here.
6 ball.
6 ball stuff.
It goes, but it's you got to play it up table.
Yeah, but the 7 gives them access to it. So there's, if you wanted solids, it's there.
Yeah.
3, 4, 6, 7.
I'd probably still pick solids here.
It might be that he is married to the break, so I think we're going to see Jason shoot stripes. Yeah. Yeah. Nice shot. So yeah, I think it's make it take it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's why.
There's a lot of different rules.
Yeah, there's so many variations, especially 8 ball. There's like so many different things.
Is it call shot?
No, slop counts.
Just the 8.
I'm sorry?
You have to call the 8.
Yeah, I think you have to call your pocket on the 8. Yeah.
Do you have to use one of those little markers?
No, you don't need to mark your pocket.
I've seen that before.
Yeah, and APA and the Masters, this is like a Masters format, so in the U.S. Amateurs, you're allowed to jump Q. In other APA formats, you're not allowed to jump
Interesting.
Q. So, miscue from Jason, and that's going to give Greg ball in hand. That early miss could have hurt him a lot, so he gets a chance to stabilize here and hopefully shake off any early nerves. So how do you you have a general approach for playing patterns in 8 ball that you like?
A lot of times I like to pick the I choose stripes or solids based on the 8-ball.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
Right.
If there's a stripe that's clogging up the 8-ball, I'll probably take stripes.
Okay.
I'm a defensive player. I'm
Yeah.
not a great pocketer.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that they're going to have to mess with my ball
Right.
to even win the game.
Yeah, more of like a lockdown approach. I kind of tend to do the same thing where I look at, what the table position gives me and then work backwards from the 8 and try and figure out which pattern works.
Yeah.
And then I try and obviously address the problem ball as soon as possible. But all things aside, I like to attack the center of the table first and clear the balls that are in the middle of the table, and then work towards the rails that are more natural patterns. Because leaving end balls and 8-ball in the middle of the table can cause a lot of problems for players, and they got to go to the rail or they got to get perfect, and then there's your opponent's balls might be obstructing natural pathways. So I like clearing the middle and then working my way backwards and into an end pattern. So
Balls in the middle table in general are a bit hard because you have too many options.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it looks like Jason wants to try and clear this this stripe to the left of the 1, and then I think the 1.
He should be out here. This is...
Yeah, so he's got kind of he's a little flat on the 9. I think I would have liked to play 9 and then stripe and then this other stripe, or that stripe you just shot and then the 1 to the right of the spot, and then just leave the 9 and come back up table.
I think he's good here.
Yeah, I think now he's just got to manage position. So he's got to go 2 rails between the 1 and 6 and hold speed. He's crossing the line of position a little bit on the 8. I don't think he'll want to necessarily juice this up with inside.
Yeah.
I think it passes a 7. It's
You
a
just
little
don't,
touchy, and it's, slidey cloth. You can have some deflection issues.
you don't want to run into that 6-ball. I think that could stop you.
So, yeah, he's coming
good.
2 rails, and he went 2 rails short to avoid the 6, like you said, and then try and give himself a shot in the 8 because the 8 does pass the 7. So that's good.
Looks like he can cue this fine, too.
Yeah, that's also a little fortunate there because he could have been 100% tree-topped, and then that becomes real iffy. But you kind of mitigate that by going 2 rails, and
Looked like he might have bumped that 4-ball with his cue.
Oh, well. I'm not sure.
After he shot it.
Yeah.
I don't know what the rule is here.
No, I think I don't think there's like a all-ball fouls, cue ball fouls thing. But if he does move the ball during the shot, it should be a foul. But Jason's a pretty honorable guy. I think he'd call a foul on himself.
Yeah.
So Greg had an open chance there to break and run and put some pressure on Jason. With Jason being a good player, a little bit more experienced player, and Greg, I've never heard of him, so maybe Jason hasn't either, but it's those early games where you're playing somebody you don't know, that if you can show some competency and some dominance and some skill, you can put pressure on a known player. They might have a little extra pressure on themselves, just having won the tournament in the past, expecting themselves to play a certain level. So those early games are real crucial to kind of
playing on the stream isn't easy as
Yeah,
well.
exactly.
That adds quite a bit of pressure.
Right. And everybody here wants to win, so it's there's all that stuff too.
I've never heard of Greg either. I used to live in his area
Mm-hmm.
in New Jersey, and never heard of him.
Howell, New Jersey.
Yeah, that's it's on the shore.
Mm-hmm.
It's Monmouth County, New Jersey. I used to go to the beach there quite a bit.
Cool. Okay, let's see here what Jason broke. And
it's a little hard to tell what is going on around that 7 ball. I think it's a 7,
Jason
9,
moves,
14,
maybe we
and
can
2.
get, here we go. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stripes, and we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, he stripes. Looks like he's going to play the 11, try and come back to center cup here. I think there's a combination on the bottom side of the table here.
Yeah, the make it take it on the break makes things
Tough,
a
yeah,
lot tougher.
for sure. Okay, so it looks like Jason came down table right away to try and address this little cluster that he's got. I'm not sure if he can get enough of the 10 ball past that obstructing stripe to go rail first off the 7 and clear the pocket. That's something he might be interested in looking at. So he didn't have enough, so he tried to develop it off the ball on the stripe, which is kind of
yeah,
free.
Yeah.
And the balls are jammed up here, so you might just see him, nip the 10 and kind of slide to the rail, maybe get close to the 7, and let Greg try and mess with all the junk. I don't think Jason's going to go offensive here because that's, shooting the 13 to the side is kind of naked. If you miss, you kind of relinquish control and let your opponent in with, a runnable table. But he might if he's feeling good. So, yeah, he's going to go ahead and shoot this stripe in the side because then he can play the 10 in the corner and probably get out, but he missed. All right, so hopefully Greg has a chance to clear up here. 2-7 is tough, but as soon as he gets that off the table, all the balls kind of go in pocket. It's just about getting on the right pattern. Uh-oh.
Interesting.
Bold strategy.
I don't know what he was thinking there. Maybe block the pocket, but
Yeah.
That's a risky move, messing with the 8-ball near a pocket.
So Jason's stripes again, right?
He has stripes, yeah.
I might like, as a containing shot, just thinly carrying the 9 and billiarding the 7 in and leaving the cue ball on the, next to the 10 so that you can control the pocket and play safe and free up, some stuff and then let.
Sounds like he may have heard you.
Yeah, I think he just played the combination version of that.
Is he listening to the stream right now?
Yeah, so this is why I didn't like the combo side because you can get a double kiss and still leave. You're going on the opposite side of the 2 and you can leave him a clear hit. Going the other way, you hide him up against the 10 and you take away everything, and the only ball he would have been able to see is the 5, and the 5 doesn't go anywhere up table. So I think it was a little bit safer shot going for the carom, but it's
I think this 10 can go in.
Yeah, I think he can chop it in real first.
If he can bump that.
Yeah, he nudged it a little bit. Don't tie up the 8 though.
Yeah. I think he's good.
Jason has a way of manufacturing certain outs and getting out from spots that maybe seem a little unnatural. He's got a lot of talent with his ball pocketing and has played for a long time. So sometimes he'll just kind of feel his way through a pattern and gets out from spots maybe you wouldn't think he'd get out from. But he's definitely an accomplished player. I mean, I've watched him beat some touring pros before in big tournaments. He likes to play in big tournaments. Used to play the U.S. Open all the time. I know he's been working a lot lately and hasn't been playing quite as much, but definitely an accomplished player. Of course, I say that and he misses a duck. So.
Well, I think he's still got the advantage here with that 1 ball locked on that
this
8.
is a real crucial game for Greg if he wants to have any. This is one of those racks where if you win and then maybe you break and run a rack or something, then you can kind of stabilize. But if you lose and your opponent, who's a good player, will get comfortable and just run out all over you and just kind of take over control the whole match. So it's really imperative for Greg to try and get a W together.
I think if he tries to be too aggressive here, it could hurt him with that 1 ball down there if he wants to play.
I think he's got to get down there now and play that combo because the 1-6. Oh no, that's the 8, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's tough.
If I were him, I would try to
I'd try and
knock
get
out some balls and then lock that up because I don't think he's going to get out from there.
Right. Yeah, I mean he's got a pretty full angle on the 4. If he was feeling comfortable, he might be able to follow forward and bump the 1 and then develop it to the other corner. But I think he's going to attack it from this side and try and go down there. Nope, peeling off the 6. So this is just telling me he's playing all out to get on the 1 and then get position on the 3 and then come down, which is harder. I kind of like leaving the 6 up there because it's like an insurance ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is tough now because you've kind of handcuffed yourself.
Yeah, you're committed to the run out.
Yeah, and you got to shoot for it, and the ball's laying weird, and it's hard to get position on anything. So I know Andrew Cleary would probably jack up and fire the 3 in the corner and then bank the 1 and then shoot the 8. And then that would be the end. So,
You're killing my action.
well, I learned how to speak Russian because of you. Yeah, I think, honestly, they only there's a 1 pass the
I think
9
the
on
one.
side.
I think the one on the side goes.
It's just weird. I think shooting the 3 is probably safer because then if he misses, the pocket is still blocked. Although that 13 might be. That was a good shot there.
Yeah, but now what?
You fire the 1, baby.
Yeah.
This is the Andrew Cleary School of Pool.
He's betting the game on this.
Yeah,
on
I
this
think
shot.
he bet the game on a little while ago when he didn't do what you did where,
I
committed to running out.
Well, he's punting, but
Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to get in the end zone with that shot.
Derek Schwager says, "What's up?"
What's up, Derek?
Another good player.
Congrats on the new house.
Yeah, man, big moves. He's an electrician, right?
He is. He's a very good electrician.
Awesome.
Very good pool player, too.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw some. He's one of those guys that I see online every once in a while just snap off a good player or have a good finish in a tournament, like him and Raf Debreu and Alex Olinger. Kind of like that tier of players who's like dangerous and can beat anybody, but, has a life and, family and doing the whole thing, the right thing. Yeah. So I have a lot of respect for guys that can manage all that stuff because it takes a lot to play at a high level. So good shot from Jason. I would have liked to see him maybe bring that stripe closer to the corner. If he's in that 1 diamond window of the corner, that shot puts a lot of pressure on the opponent.
I like that shot. I think that was a good trap shot.
Right, but now it's easy for if that ball was out in the corner, this shot wouldn't be available.
I'm gonna
right?
do the same thing. I'm gonna brush
yeah,
off the
he's
side
gonna
of this,
go
up table.
Right, but now Greg has the advantage from there because now.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, now this is a good reply from Jason, but if that 9 ball didn't peek out, then Greg could have thinned the 1 again and go up table and maybe bring it closer to the corner.
And I think that 8 ball being right on that pocket makes this real tough because it limits what you can do.
Yeah.
You don't want to.
Because of where the 9 ball is now, now Greg has to play off the right side of the 1 and close down the position. That was really weird. He should have maybe hit the ball. Yeah, so Jason's got a couple options. If the 13 stripe passes the 8, then he can just follow forward and play the 9. And
he's fine for me.
Yeah. I wonder if he miscued a little or got a little deflection error or something with the new cloth. It slid to the side. Because he had right English on the ball. It makes me think that he was trying to kick behind it.
Well, he was right on the rail. He could have been a miscue.
Yeah.
It's hard to cue from
But he definitely cued it with English. So if he was on the rail, he should have just hit it with some straight top and focused on a thin cut and go up table. You got to just buy yourself some time when you're in that spot. All right. That was an important round for Greg. I think we're going to see Jason get comfortable here and start playing even better.
Again, being on the stream is...
Being on the stream's tough.
I think
playing on new cloth is tough.
Everyone plays a ball below their speed on the stream.
Yeah, I haven't played well on the stream in a big table for a little while, big tournament. Although it's kind of hard because you got to have a lot of things line up for you where you're playing a bunch of pool and you feel comfortable and you're not trying to get back in stroke or anything. You know what I mean? It's tough when you come to a tournament and you're trying to get back in stroke and then they put you on the stream table and you're like, oh crap, here we go. Here's all the things that I need to work on. But it's a good experience for everybody because it gets you kind of figuring out some things about your own game and you can go back and watch it. So one of the things that I've started doing more recently is last year I got a table at home. So some of the times when I'll do a long practice session, I'll set a camera up just to record so that I can normalize the experience of having just an objective camera watching me play. Because that can be a little bit of a shark for some players who don't do that regularly. So that's a good way to just kind of get some feedback for yourself on a regular basis. And I do video stuff, so it's pretty simple just to pop up a camera and look at some stuff. So if you're at home trying to become a little bit better player and want to be intentional about tracking your practice and what you're doing on camera, it's a good way to kind of just get over the nerves of that.
I've done that as well, and unfortunately, it reminds me how terrible of a pool player I am when I watch myself play.
Right. Yeah, no, it can be frustrating, man. That feeling when you're out of stroke a little bit and you know it's just going to take the brutal, like, going through some rough patches of work, of practice just to get back to feeling good and being able to hit the ball the way you know how.
Well, I think Greg here is feeling the pressure.
Yeah, he jabbed at that one stripe real quick and just kind of got down and poked at it.
He's got a hitch in his stroke.
Yeah. It's one of those things, like, it's a compounding issue, right? Like, if you don't just get comfortable and start making balls and you start rushing balls and you get frustrated and you think about the shots that you missed beforehand and then, all those things start compounding and then your opponent starts playing good. It's just like, it gets
Jason
tough.
really isn't playing that great either. But
no,
he's
just capitalizing on the errors he's given, right? Yeah. That's the thing, too. It's like Jason hasn't played a super stellar set or anything. He's just, Greg's given him a bunch of chances. And, as soon as Jason gets comfortable, he's going to start playing good because he is a good player. And then that's going to, make it more difficult. But, it's all part of the learning experience, So
you're allowed to take a break, right?
Yeah, you're allowed to take a break at any time.
On your shot?
I think whenever you want. At least in this tournament, that's the rule. You can just, if you need to go to the bathroom, you put your cue down and go and just let your opponent know. But
I think it's probably time for him to take a break.
Yeah, totally.
I think that's one of the more important things I've learned is figure out when you need to take a break.
Right, and I think managing that as a player when either, if you're in the lead and you're controlling a match and you want to take a break and kind of make your opponent think about a shot and make sure you don't allow the moment to get too big for you. You can just compose yourself and come back, relax. There's also that, my opponent's kind of steamrolling me a little bit. I should try and take a break and figure out, how I can take advantage of my next opportunity at the table.
It's a momentum killer for your opponent, and it's
and you'll watch some of the
regroup and
like Brian does that a bunch. Parks, he'll get to a point where, let's say he has an advantage in the match, he's up 5-3, and he'll take a break. He'll go take a smoke break, relax, whatever, try and get that comfortable thing, and then make his opponent feel about the pressure. What's up, Jose? Jose Del Rio just walked by. So it's one of those. So Jason, I don't think, has a clear pocket for this 11, unless he's
just the side.
Wow, he's chopping it in the side. What a shot!
That's a good shot.
It's kind of a shot to, nothing there. It's just kind of swinging away at it. Knowing Jason, he'll kick the 9 in and get on the 8 here.
I like tying something up here.
I don't think that's his last ball on the bottom cushion, that stripe, I think.
Yeah.
So he's going to go just to kick at it. And I don't think he really is feeling a lot of pressure right now. So might have been a different shot selection if, his opponent was really firing back at him. Well, he got the ball going in, so it's not a foul. But Greg's got, the advantage here. It's funny that he's just getting down and shooting the hardest ball on the table right now. I'm not sure the two.
Well, no, it's not bad because he could just play this with follow, and if you miss it, he doesn't have a shot.
Yeah.
That's when your opponent has one ball on the table.
So Jason gave him ball in hand, but he hit the 9. He definitely hit the 9 going in.
Are you sure?
Absolutely, yeah.
To me, it looked like a foul. But
can we get the instant replay going? Who's running this show? Anyways, no, I definitely don't think he fouled. I know he hit the ball going in. So, but whatever. So this is a good. If he had ball in hand, I like playing the 1 to the center and getting at this group of balls. Probably come back and play the 5 in the same corner, which he tried to do.
He missed it good.
Yeah, he missed it on the. He missed it. So should have made that ball. And
see,
play
this
the
is where
5.
the advantage of 8-ball comes in play. When you're down, you're not playing well.
Correct.
Safeties are easy even when you're running out.
Right. And the good thing, too, is that 7 ball is blocking the corner. So, like, Jason's going to try and make, the 9 into the 3. But now Greg can just pocket one of his solids into the 9 if he wants and control the pocket.
Yep.
But, honestly, the balls are pretty open. I would say I'd take a chance now to try and make one of his solids behind the 9 Oh, no.
No.
Because if you can get to a point where you can shoot one of your balls in, follow it in because the 9's deep, and get shape and play safe, then you're giving yourself a chance to run out and win the rack. But
He's doesn't have a shot here. He might be able to play off the rail. I don't know. He might have to masse this ball.
Yeah, it's tough, especially on a new cloth. You got to judge the curve of the ball.
And then where's the cue ball going afterwards?
Yeah, and he's not going to have shape on the 8. In certain situations, I like even just making your opponent's ball, but this is not one of those. He's going for the Z kick.
He's going with the Efren kick.
Yeah, it's really hard. That ball's going to break forward a lot off the second cushion because of the new cloth. You have to almost aim for the side pocket and let the curve take, because it's going to take twice. It's going to take off the first rail and the second rail because of all that top English, and it's really hard to get there. You almost have to go deep and shorten it back up. So he's going to play the 6. Yeah, again, I think that was a position actually where he could have ran out. He could have shot the 6 in the other corner and played for the 2 in the side and played the 5 in the side and then got underneath the 4.
Yeah. So you left him a bank here, and
dangerous, yeah, because,
it doesn't – I wouldn't have done that.
Right. Shout out to Mike Lear, Straight Shooter Gear, over in the Jacksonville area, just joined in the chat.
What's up, Mike?
Yeah, Greg really needs to pocket a few balls here. But it's not encouraging. I think Jason is going to keep getting his opportunities and to steal a game. So he's got the 8 out in play now.
So now he's got to run out.
Yeah,
there's no reason why he shouldn't be able to run out here.
Right. So the 7's an easy ball that he can kind of just pocket to get into position, but that first positional shot is really important. I think he's got to play the 6 and try and get on either the 5 or the 2 in the side.
Yep. And
he's coming a little tight in his work, though.
He's got it.
That's a nice shot. Here, I'd probably just pinch the 2 ball, just make it inside, pinch it back a little bit, and try and get on the left side of that, the 5 in the corner so he can just float naturally to the 4.
I think he's going to get on the board here. Nope.
So he went forward, and I don't like this now because you increase your distance and you give yourself a little bit of a longer angle.
Yeah.
And now he's flat on the 4, so now he's going to have to punch it or draw it or something. And under pressure, you might miss this ball. But he made a nice shot.
Yep, he's on the board. He's
good, yeah. Stop shot. I wouldn't try and do too much with the cue ball. Just make it. Yeah, good. Good sequence of shot from Greg. It's nice to see him execute a run out here if he just makes this ball in the corner.
That first win is tough to get.
Yeah.
And that might take a lot of pressure off of him.
Yeah, and those are confident strokes. He just kind of didn't belabor it too much and just put him in the pocket. And that'll be a good relief for him to get on the table here, get on the board and have a chance to break. We haven't seen his break yet, but this is the last game of the 8 ball before they switch to 9.
Yeah, I think he definitely got lucky there. He shouldn't have let him have a bank at that 8 ball.
Yeah, but he did have the advantage of having those extra balls, and the 8 was tied up, and it was kind of like Jason would have to really come with something and develop something to make a good shot and get open. But he ran those balls nice and on the board. So I think we're going to see a second ball break from him on the new cloth.
I've never figured that break out.
Second ball break.
You're going to have to teach me that.
Yeah, no problem.
Every time I do it, I pop the cube off the table.
Yeah.
I just like to...
It's a little bit of a feel thing.
Hit it right in the front.
Yeah.
Smash them.
Yeah, I kind of like that too, especially if you can get a good rack. But it's hard to get a good rack consistently when other people are racking for you and using a wood rack. And with the new cloth, you can definitely get a lot of activity with that second ball break, and you can kind of mitigate your risks a little bit. But it's really about how you're feeling if you can get good action on it. And every table's going to break a little different. So. All right, so Jason's coming up, shooting the 7. Missed it a hair wide. So I think we're still looking at an open table. Right? Yep. Yeah. And Greg's left-handed here, so the 6 is an easy shot, for him to reach. If you're right-handed, you might have to do a little stretching. And Greg's overcut the 6. So I think solids are the group. Those 2 stripes are tied up along the side cushion down in the racking area to the right. And the solids are all open. They all have a pocket. 4 ball goes in this bottom right pocket. So
It's solid, isn't it?
yeah, it goes in this bottom right hand corner.
Yeah.
So that's the only positional thing. So if he gets in the middle and he shoots a 2 in the corner, he can come 1-2 rails and play the 4 and then play the 6, and he should be fine. So Jason's going to clear the top of the table, and I think he's going to try and get to the – he can either get to the middle and play the 2 and come 2 rails for the 4, or he can just go to the 4. And if you go to the 4, then you can play a position for the 4 and the 5. But I kind of like playing for the 2 first. But I think he's going to go. He's going to get perfect on the 5, and then he can draw back. So that was a good part about playing that shot, is that you're playing for 2 balls. And getting on this angle of the 5 means he's going to be above the 4, not below it, going back up table. So that's really good as well. Yeah, so just pinch it back to the rail. And then he'll play 4, 6 in the same corner, and then the 2 likely in the opposite corner. And depending on where he falls there, he'll pick a pocket for the 8. He's got to make sure not to get too flat. This new cloth, so he can kind of, probably pop up from here, but I would have liked a little bit more angle on the 6 to make it natural just to come 1 rail up for the 2 in that opposite corner.
You can stun this kind of hard and
you're
fine.
Yep.
Wow.
So he stunned it and hit it with a little draw, which I don't think was intentional.
Yeah.
That could have gotten weird if he rubbed the 2.
I would have preferred the other pocket.
Sure. Yeah, and that's just a product of not being detailed about the angle off the 4 and onto the 6. That angle, if you have enough of it, then it's just a natural 1 rail shot with a little bit of spin. So now he's got to baby the 2 in and leave himself a tough shot on the 8, likely a bank. If not, then a chop cut corner, like up in the corner.
Is this a touchscreen? Can we draw on the?
I'm not sure.
This?
Is it?
Draw on this?
Oh wow! Look at that.
I guess I should have told you that at the beginning.
Wow.
All
Okay,
right.
be careful, because you never know. That's all right. And Jason's missed the 2.
Well, that could come up.
I wonder
pretty good
now.
for us to demonstrate what
absolutely,
we're talking about.
yeah. So are those shapes? Okay. Sorry guys, we're just learning what's going on here.
So I would not break these up right now. I would probably pocket some balls
I
up
think
table.
he's trying to just nudge him into the corner, but this is kind of
Now he can kick that ball in.
yeah. The 2's on the high side though.
Yeah, it is.
So I think it's a little dangerous for Jason. So here's a position where if Greg had a ball, let's say in this area, right? And he was going to kind of position it there to break open that cluster, and I was Jason, I might consider making that ball and taking a foul.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now Jason made a nice kick. We hit the high side of the 2, and now it's likely makeable the next time, Greg tries to play safe. So Greg's going to thin this stripe and go up table, it looks like.
I don't like that.
No, he's going right in the 8. Well, he made a ball, so that's, I guess, good.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, but he opened up.
That. I think.
I thought it was.
Yeah, this.
So it is call shot?
No, it shouldn't be. I think they're playing it as it is, but I think that should be Greg's shot. Chat, do you guys know if Greg was supposed to keep shooting? I think he was supposed to keep shooting there. Maybe we'll ask our directors here. Do we know if in the rules, if he hits one of his balls and slops the ball in, he keeps shooting, right? On stripes, it's not called pocket. With the grouping in 8-ball, I've won this tournament before, so I'm pretty sure.
What are you asking me for?
I just,
he just slopped
maybe
the ball
there's
in.
he just slopped the ball in,
he
and
didn't keep
Jason kept shooting.
Did the opponent seem upset about it?
No, the opponent I think thought incorrectly the same way. So, well, these are the kind of things you're gonna have to just deal with. Yeah, they're going to 9-ball now.
Huh.
What a move!
Yeah.
Jason is such a shark. Look at that.
Well, I think he
I'm
played
just
the
kidding.
wrong shot anyway. He shouldn't have broken those balls up, and you can.
Correct.
He could have made his ball. He had a ball in the side.
He could have
pocket.
shot this ball in the side straight in, but he played a more advanced level shot. Played a carom combination with the 8, got position, and then, maybe Jason objected. I don't know. That's a strong shot. I mean, Efren might have played that shot. Yeah, little controversy. We'll have to talk to Greg about that after. Or not. He might be upset. But.
Check, check, check.
All right, looks like we got Jason back in the booth.
Yeah, I figured I'd jump back in here with you guys. We'll switch to the 9-ball set. Everybody doing all right over here?
Yeah, doing great.
Pretty good.
Of course, if you folks are just joining us, you're watching live coverage of the U.S. Amateur Championship. You've been listening to the sweet, soothing commentary sounds of Raymond Linares, a former U.S. Amateur champion, and Andrew Cleary, a pretty darn good player in his own right. I won't give it away, though. I won't tell you how good.
Nobody knows.
But he is the star of a recent pool documentary called The Great Unknown. We pinned it here in the comments on Facebook, so I would encourage you guys after the match, give that a watch. I think you'll be amazed at the talent level of Mr. Cleary. So, and that was a collaboration between these two, Raymond and Andrew, both ultra talented fellas that just happen to play pool.
That's right.
You guys, tell us a little bit about how the Great Unknown came together.
So it's kind of an interesting story. Just overall, how I got into video production. I actually got into video production because of pool. When I was younger, I was taking lessons with John DeToro down in Florida, and he's a lot of players will know him, and he's a great guy. But he was running the Florida Pro Tour back then, and there was a guy who used to go and record matches and post them online named George Torres with a site called ProPoolVideo.com. So this was before YouTube became like a thing.
Right.
So he would literally go and record matches, edit them, and post them up online if people would watch. And they had great archive of matches. And I was taking lessons with Johnny. He was like, you're getting to the point where you need to compete against other players to get better. And he's like, if you go help this guy, basically be a production assistant, carry tripods and cameras and stuff, then you'll get a free entry fee into the tournament. And it was $150, entry fee. So I was getting to play against Corey and Justin Hall and like Donnie and Tommy Kennedy and Stevie Moore and a bunch of good players.
Yeah.
And, cut my teeth. So that kind of like got me into film production. And then I ended up developing a career about it. And so I've done work for Andrew in the past and recently moved up here, and we both love pool. And so he's like, I got this really good idea. I have this, how when you just have a burning desire to
passion project.
Just do something fun. And so I was like, well, I'm happy to, just do something just because. So he was kind of like the brains of the operation as far as like the creative direction of the character and kind of creating these sequences. And we have friends who are pros, and it's fun to kind of like leverage those. So you'll see Donnie in there. You'll see a bunch of top players making cameos and stuff.
Yeah.
So we just kind of did it as a fun project. Andrew can talk more about kind of his idea for it and kind of how he wrote me into doing it.
Well, over the past few years, I jokingly have photoshopped my face onto the Moscone Cup announcements, the player pictures, and some people take it seriously and don't realize that I'm just joking. That I'm not a high-caliber player, and it's a lot of fun that I do that every year. And then last year, I was speaking to Raymond and said, "What if we made a video about this and just upped the ante?" And we couldn't collaborate last year on it. We were just both really busy. And this year, Raymond moved up to the Tampa area by me. I'm like, oh, let's. We knocked it out in what, 4 days or so?
Yeah. It was just a few days of shooting, couple pickup days, really simple stuff. But
and there's been mixed reviews. There's been some people that just don't understand, and that's fine. And that makes it more funny for
extra
me.
funny.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. For me, it was between matches yesterday. Obviously we've been spending a lot of time on Facebook with the streaming, and was scrolling through, and I happened to catch this thing, and I start watching it, and by the end, I'm almost in tears, and I'm like,
so you want to hear
who is this guy? And then I realized Raymond was attached to it as well, and then these guys show up today, and I said, oh, we got to put you guys on the stream.
You want to hear a really funny story about the video? So we're filming it, and then Andrew had gone up to New York for some work stuff, and then was hanging out at one of the pool rooms and messing around with a buddy, and a buddy and him make a bet where he's like, loser shaves, and this guy has a huge beard, right? So they bet their beards, right? And we had already started shooting, right, the project, and then Andrew gets beat by this guy and has to shave his beard, and he's like, man, I dogged it, I did it, I messed up, like, this is going to cost me, like, how do we write this?
Write it in the script,
so we had to rewrite the end of the script.
So we had to work it in, you
Nice.
know? And so then he calls me, like, messages me, like, at 3 in the morning. He's like, I got it. I got it. Sends me a message. And so we end up doing, like, a pickup scene. And that's the scene with Donnie where he says, in order for me to keep my action, I got to change my appearance, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
He's shaving.
Nice.
And then it cuts to the scene with Donnie getting beat by him or paying off. He's like, you look like it. And that's like my favorite part of the whole project, I think. It's so
nice.
Fun. And Donnie, to his credit, is not an actor or anything, but
he did a great job.
When I was recording him, he hit his line and had the right tone each time. And it was interesting to see him have a good on-camera presence because he's, a great player. He's finished third in the U.S. Open and probably, top 1 or 2 players in Florida every year. And also a working guy. He's got his own car lot and sells cars. So it's just a fun, it's just us goofing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, folks, go check that out. We pinned the link right in the comments there so you can give it a click. I'm sure you can find it on both of their Facebook pages. Again, that's Raymond Linares, Andrew Cleary. If you know anybody in the billiard world, that you're probably mutual friends somewhere along the line. So
I'm at my 5,000 friend cap. Actually.
Oh, there you go.
There. So I'm next.
It's an exclusive club to be on Mr. Linares' Facebook page.
Me and Jeanette Lee.
Nice. Meanwhile,
I've also had several people send me messages thinking that I actually am the best
nice.
player in the world.
He got a message.
You get a couple sponsorships out of it, and
he got a message from some guy in Eastern Europe or something. I want to come and train with you,
Nice.
And I was like, well, you gotta have him come over and then do nothing but like obscure stuff that has nothing to do with pool. Like take him out in the boat, go fishing,
Mr.
like,
Miyagi style.
drink beer, like
nice.
build a tree house or something, like sand the floor, like all that.
It's funny stuff.
But in the vein of the character. So if you watch it, just try not to take it too seriously because it's just
take it seriously.
Or take it super serious.
Or take it all the way. There's no in between.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think that's something that pool kind of lacks is a little bit of a personality, and don't take it so seriously.
Right. So Richard Piper had a question in the chat. Richard, so the way the format works, they start off playing one of the 2 games, either 8-ball or 9-ball. They started off playing 8-ball, which is 5 games, and then once the 5 games have lapsed, they switch into the 9-ball. So now the rest of the set will be 9-ball until one player reaches 7 racks 1.
I forgot they were still playing.
Yeah. They're still
We got
going.
so excited about the documentary.
Yeah. So, it's kind of fun. I've been wanting to do some cool pool-related video projects for a while.
Yeah.
The last basically 8 or 9 years I've been freelancing. So a lot of traveling, a lot of like, hey, this shoot came up, can you come and shoot it? And that takes up, as a freelancer, takes up all your time basically because you're either working on a job or working to get the next job. So moving up, I came on board with a company up here doing video production work, so that's kind of stabilized things. So hopefully that'll open up more opportunities to do some creative pool-related work because pool's given me a lot, and it's funny that pool actually gave me my career, and I think that's really great. So for me, whenever pool and video kind of line up,
that's where
it
your
brings
dream
a lot of
zone,
joy,
right? Yeah.
Joy for me, a lot of satisfaction, and just fulfillment. So
Nice.
It's kind of fun. But
some satisfaction there for Greg Meehan, who's quietly, as we've been
Making
chatting,
his way back.
he's pulled within 1 game
and
here.
something to note about Greg, he looks way more comfortable playing 9-ball than
But
he did
he
playing
picked
8-ball.
8-ball though, right?
He did. I think
That
he
was
knows.
interesting.
Yeah, it might have been that he picked. It might have picked. So he either picked the game, or
The
Jason
break.
won the lag and picked the break, and so
Yeah.
he picked 8-ball as the defensive.
Oh, okay.
That's probably what ended up happening. But because it is hard. 'Cause the year that I won, I picked 9-ball every
Really?
time.
See,
and
I
didn't
think a
care.
lot of them do pick 8-ball first. I
Yeah.
just
And I don't think that's like
feel
a
out the
popular
opponent a
thing.
little bit. I don't know.
I was just so offensively minded when I won, and I was playing a lot of pool that if I just got a shot, I felt like I could, get the advantage and get up early on. But anyhow, looks like Greg had a nice cut control break there, but didn't pocket anything. And Jason's going to have an opportunity to play safe, maybe thin the 1 and go up table. I like maybe going up table 2 rails behind that 8-ball if you can. But the
Just
3
going
is
to
going to
bank
be
it
close.
down to the Brunswick. And
Yeah, exactly, and spin up table. But he's got to be careful with the corner. Yeah.
oh, he's good.
Yep,
It's a
pretty good.
shot.
Pretty good.
Got looking ahead to the next round. I think we're going to see Dr. Andrews versus Jacob Watson. We'll have a
The
special, have a
Huntsville
special
Andrews?
guest commentator for that, Mr. Andrews' father, Richard. Who's
Awesome.
Nice.
was my broadcast partner last year, so he's going to get to call his son's match.
That's
That'll be kind
awesome.
of a cool thing.
Richard's a really nice guy.
Super nice guy.
He's a former champion too, isn't he?
Richard never actually won. I think he finished runner-up, but
Got it.
he's the veteran of many of these tournaments, however, and now he's passed that love on his son. And
So there's a funny story. In 2010, I kind of came into this event. I didn't know anybody. I wasn't like, I don't know if Facebook was like super like as active as it is like now.
Sure.
So I didn't have a run of who everybody was. And I remember I came in the day of the tournament to practice, and I just happened to get on a table, and there happened to be 5 former champions on the table, and I had no idea.
Right.
And so I lost the first couple racks, just trying to. They'd been there practicing for a little bit, and I couldn't get settled. And then my buddy Dave at the time says to me, "Oh, you're on the table with like 5." He knows he's the opposite. He like knows everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Oh, you're on table 5 champ." And I don't want to know. Like I just don't care. And so I got kind of upset. And then once I got my hooks in on the table, I ran a 5 on the practice table, and I was like, "I don't care.
Right,
I don't care who's here." That was one of those things.
Well, it's you versus the table, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so there's some. I say that because I think there's that mindset, the healthy balance of that is really good. You have to respect your opponents, obviously, because there's a lot of good players here, but you also have to almost have a I don't care mentality and just kind of do your thing.
So we're watching a former champ, Jason Richko, and obviously, Raymond, you won it in 2010, right?
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, I know it didn't work out for you this year to be able to make it out, but you've obviously been back since 2010, and for the people that have trouble getting their mind around a pool tournament that has no prize payout, what is it that motivates you to come out and be part of the U.S. Amateur Championship?
So I have a little bit of a different view on pool overall. I think for me, pool I just love as a personal growth, lifelong endeavor that I can continue to kind of measure myself against my own standards, and I want to improve. And I think this tournament does a great thing about keeping just the purity of the love of the sport as the people who come here to this tournament love pool. Right. You know what I mean? They wouldn't travel across the country and play in something that wasn't meaningful to them. And so I think there's something to be said about that. And in the early days of the Olympics, they didn't play for money; they played for pride. Right. So there's this great scene from the D2, the Mighty Ducks, where they talked about kind of that. There's a whole monologue about they came here and they played for pride of country, they played for pride of the sport, and like as a young kid that kind of resonated with me because I was very passion driven about it. So now as an adult, I know I'm not going to make pool my career as a financial endeavor. But I do have aspirations to win national titles, win big pro open events, and try and get myself as high up in my skill level as I can. Yeah. And if money comes, that's awesome. Great. Yeah. If not,
but it's not the motivation.
Then whatever.
I gotcha.
But like a lot of these guys, getting a chance to use this as a segue into like the U.S. Open is a big deal, right? Because, that's a big prize. I remember going to the U.S. Open, I was like, man, what a feeling. I got airfare, my hotel, entry fee, it's all covered. Yeah. You know what I mean? Right. And I get to go do what I love against the best players in the world. Yeah. And I remember I won my first match, and that was such a validating point for me. Yeah. You know what I mean? Where I knew that, here's an opportunity for me to showcase myself against good players, and I had close matches against good players. I lost an 11-9 match to Hiyato Hichikata, 3-hour match, late in the evening. We finished around 3 in the morning, and I missed 2 balls being up 9-7 that cost me the match, but more from fatigue. And so that taught me at that point, it's not just about making the ball, it's about managing your energy, being able to, stay focused over long periods of time, and what do you need to put into place to make sure that you're at the best form when it comes to those moments. Because the last day of the U.S. Open is a grind. It is brutal. Back then it was double elimination. You have to play a race to 11. And you're playing champion after champion after champion after champion. And that's really where you see the quality of a lot of players hold up. So,
Greg's about to tie this thing up.
The trophy, when you win this, is legit.
Yeah. It's like a work. It's like a work of art. It's actually commissioned by an artist that puts it together. So it's it's a little bit of a paperweight, if you want to consider it that.
Hey Richard, for those of you who've not seen the trophy, it weighs like 40 pounds. Yeah. And I drove it home with me to Miami. I can't imagine having to fly that thing back.
To get it its own seat.
I put it in the passenger seat and seat belted it in, and I'm like, "You're coming home, babe." I have it in my office now at the house, and it's tremendous. So it's kind of cool walking in and seeing the official Larry Hubbard trophy with all the names
with your name on it.
And my name's on there, and it's part of that, and it's cool, Yeah. And last year, when I think Abram won, there was a comment made in in the comments about him possibly being one of the younger champions. I think he was like 26 last year. And then I realized, I had just turned 23 when I won it.
You were a young man.
And then people did the research, and I think you're the youngest ever champion. So that was kind of – I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't know that we recognized it at the time, but yeah.
But it's cool to just – oh, wait, that's cool. And then
Nice.
I'm also, I think, the only person in history to have the ACUY National and the U.S. Amateur Championship.
Same.
I did it in the same year in 2010, but there's no collegiate national champion that's won the U.S. Amateurs yet either. So it's kind of just fun, facts and stuff to know and to like be mindful of, and it keeps me encouraged. When I go through seasons where I can't necessarily play as much, I know what I'm capable of when I get kind of focused and short term, trained up for certain events. So it's all good. So
maybe you could talk Andrew into playing in the U.S. Amateur Championship. Although I have to get might have to look at his eligibility status. Yeah, after I saw the documentary, it might be questionable. If I got people complaining about Brian Parks playing in this event, I don't know about Andrew Cleary. Might be a real tough sell.
Brian doesn't want any part of Andrew. That's for sure.
Man, meanwhile, this has turned into a match, guys.
I'm telling you, Greg looks
all tied up here.
Way more comfortable now, and he's pocketing the balls with authority.
I think he saw some of the people's comments in the stream, got a little upset, and
maybe he got
lit a little fire under Mr. Meehan here.
Well, I've seen this a lot happen sometimes where a player will take a big lead. Even if it's alternate break, they'll take a big lead. And then once the other player gets settled and starts putting pressure back, a lot of times it's very rare that you see just a pure whitewash. You know what I mean? That the player will get up and kind of show his quality. And it's a short race, so it's like, this could very easily just go in all in Greg's favor here, especially since he has the momentum.
Well, once he got that first win, I think he got a lot of weight off his shoulders. And
yeah. There's something to say about that for sure.
He's a much better 9-ball player than he is 8-ball player.
At least from what we've seen, right?
Yeah. That's another unique thing about the U.S. Amateur Championship. You really have to be proficient in both formats. I don't know if you guys had a chance to watch any of the ladies' finals, but there was a lady from Montreal that was here, and she was superb at 9-ball, but really did not play 8-ball, and it ended up long-term. I mean, it cost her the match, essentially. Yeah,
I remember in 2010, I almost didn't qualify because I played 8-ball so bad.
Yeah.
Like, I snuck through. I had really had to grind it out. And because of how poorly I played 8-ball in the qualifier, I was like, I'm just going to play 8-ball every day for 2 months and get ready for the Nationals. And I forced myself to like 8-ball. And then it translated when I got to the Nationals. I felt more comfortable, and it's hard because there's not a lot of incentive really to play 8-ball outside of like leagues. There's not you don't go to regional 8-ball tournaments. You know what I mean?
Everything's 9-ball or 10-ball. Seems
10
like,
ball. Very little one pocket, very little straight pull, and very little 8-ball. And to be a balanced player, you really need to, approach those skill sets and develop a comfortable approach to those patterns. So, Greg.
Well, there's a famous quote by Minnesota Fats where he said, "You can be the best gin player in the world, but what do you do when you go somewhere where they don't play gin?"
Yeah.
You got to play everything. You got to play everything.
Yeah, exactly. So it's exciting that he's brought the match back up to 4-4. So I'm interested to see how Jason responds with a little pressure put on him, and see how he handles a little bit of that being applied to him.
I didn't look at the bracket. I'm assuming this is a one-loss side of the bracket, though.
Is it based on your
I don't. Will you hand me my laptop over there, Steve? Are you gonna look at it for me?
I think you guys can follow the brackets on CompuSport. Typically, you guys use that.
Yeah,
right?
CompuSport.us. I just didn't have a chance to look and see how these guys were faring.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So Greg tried to go for the combo, but didn't pocket the 6, but I think was a little fortunate in not leaving a clear shot for the 3. Going forward with the 3, he could have maybe gotten a little kiss off the back rail, and they could have spread and left him a shot. So Jason's just going to play thin off the 3 and go up table. I think he's going to try and hide him behind the 8 if possible, but actually collided into it and left a shot. So that's it. I think those are big. Those cross-table patterns are really important. And being comfortable diving into that one.
You can draw on it. Feel free if you want.
Yeah.
Did he show you how to draw on there?
So being able to come off a ball and attack like this little area here is real important. It comes up a lot in one pocket, and caroms a lot too. So if you're comfortable in either playing one pocket or 3 cushion, you'll see a lot of players, instead of instead of bumping into the 8 off of this cushion, they'll miss that 8, and now they have 2 layers of defense there with the 8 and the 4, and that makes it extra tough. And very likely you're going to get cover and maybe ball in hand earlier. So safety plays, I think, something that the nuances of it and the details of it get a little bit avoided by certain players until they get to the very high end. And it's something that can really steal back. I've beaten a lot of top players, like in the few matches I played against top players in the last couple of years. My safety play has helped me win innings and games and matches against guys who have a way higher Fargo than me, because I'm managing certain innings in key spots of the matches where if it's not open, I feel comfortable in getting the position. Mm-hmm. And even if I don't win the match, there's been matches where I've been down by a big margin, and I've been able to get back in and give myself a chance at the end where it's real close. So, because a lot of players just rely on that overwhelming offense. You know what I mean? They want to hit you with a run out and then break and run, and then they'll maybe be a little sloppy on the defensive side and give a shot. And then, a lot of guys can pocket balls from distance, especially on new cloth. And they can steal and snatch matches from guys who maybe played a little better offensively than them, But
did confirm this is a one-loss match here, so these guys they're fighting They're fighting for their tournament lives here.
Wow.
Greg is mounting quite the comeback here.
Greg's doing. I mean, I know somebody earlier in the chat said Greg was by far, not on Jason's level, but this is the nature of short races and tournament play. It's a matter of capitalizing on opportunities and giving yourself a chance to win. And sometimes it's not about who plays better overall. I mean, I'm sure if they played for 2 days, maybe we'd know who the better player was. But
we're also seeing a much different player now that it's
totally different. I mean, his demeanor at the table, he's chalking. He's kind of falling into his pre-shot routine a little bit better, delivering the cue nicely, staying down on the ball.
He was missing straight-in shots. Now he's making.
Yeah, you remember that one stripe he missed? He just got down and jabbed at it, right? Yeah. Now you see him chalking, getting established, looking at his pattern, stepping into the shot nicely, staying down on the ball. Those are all signs of somebody who, it's all indicative of him being more comfortable.
Yep.
And getting more reps at the table helps a lot. And this table plays nice. This table 3, it does play well, so it's.
You guys come in here to Strokers quite a bit to play? I know you guys are both local.
I've only been in here a couple times since I've moved. I do have a Gold Crown 1 in my apartment.
Oh, nice.
So that the table time there is pretty convenient.
Yeah.
And I have
reasonably priced. I'm assuming too, right?
And I have friends that might come over here and there and try and practice some. One of the things that I like when I'm trying to get ready for tournaments, I have a certain type of practice and drills that I'll do to say, hey, I'm getting ready for an event. So I haven't done that yet since I've moved because I've been preparing for the baby. I just had a baby girl last week.
Yeah, congratulations, by the way.
So that's basically
a life changer for sure.
She's been my whole focus the last couple months, so I haven't put as much time into practice, but I did have a couple good wins before that, as we were transitioning over, and played a couple tournaments and had some good results. So
I come to Strokers once in a while.
Yeah.
They have Saturday and Sunday tournaments that are pretty good. It's smoking indoors here, which is
tough. It's tough. Well, we do. I mean, they're kind enough for when we come in for the U.S. Amateur Championship to make it non-smoking, which we really appreciate because it's in this day and age, it is hard to host a tournament in a place that allows it. So
yeah. No, the tournament and the pool room feels so much better too when it's non-smoking. So it's really excellent that you guys come in and kind of help encourage that. And there's a lot of people filling the seats, so I don't think the pool room has to worry about not meeting numbers, and not having people order food and that kind of stuff. So.
Man, I can remember back in the day at the Riviera when you guys ever been to any of the big national tournaments out in Vegas? So when the smoking was still allowed, I mean, we're talking like 2005, it was still allowed, and we'd sit up in the sky boxes where our office was, and you look out, and there'd just be a
cloud
about 4 foot layer of
smoke.
It's crazy to think back that we even but that was just the way it was back then, right? Now the expectation is that it's not there. And
20 years ago, you go to dinner, and you'd have to say, "Do you want smoking or not?"
Yeah, that's right. I remember that as a kid.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
It's funny how the world has changed.
So Greg had that real important shot on the 7 that he just overcut and left Jason a shot. So now Jason has regained the lead at 5-4. We're racing to 7. It's his 9 ball now. And it's a tight match. I think if I was Greg, I'd kind of just try and shake off that one miss and say, hey, I've won, what is it, like 4 out of the last 5 games or something.
Yeah.
And maybe still have a little bit of the momentum. We'll see now if Jason responds well to the pressure. He missed an open pocket there. And I'm not sure if Greg has the edge of the one. He may have to go rail first. Let's see what he's doing. He's going rail first to the long cushion.
Which makes getting on that too a little more difficult.
Yep, and it's hard. Well, he's going to get
No.
Is he? Is he going to get
sold?
No, he's sold out. On that shot, you have to favor the thin side of the one, and it's a little squirrely because if you miss, you'd likely miss the whole ball. But you're really going all out to make that ball, and where the one was sitting, hitting it thick doesn't make the ball. You got to go out to that thinner half ball or quarter ball on the left side of the one, and that comes a little bit from feel because the new cloth will make the cue ball bend closer to the full side. So you have to aim further out and allow that angle to change to where you want to hit. And it's a little bit of a area where players struggle, even top players. Like if you extend that ball out to the middle of the playing surface and they have to kick one rail to it, a lot of players will miss that on the far side because they're not accounting for that reduction. Mm-hmm. And you'll see guys miss it when it's out in the middle of space. It's what we would call a small ball when it's out in middle. But in any case, Jason is showing a little nerves here now.
Yeah, and he's feeling the pressure now.
For sure, yeah.
He gave up a big lead.
And Greg seems to have a pretty good stroke here. Like he powers the ball pretty good. So I don't think he'll have trouble bringing it back here for the 4.
Yeah, now.
And that's an excellent shot because now if he's full on the 4, he doesn't have to worry about messing around with the 9 or the 8 or going around. He can play either a stop shot or just float it soft one rail and play the 5 on the side. And that's what he did. And you can hear the ball going into the pocket now.
Yeah.
I hear a nice, thwack, more assertive ball pocketing. He's not just like edging the ball in. I've seen some players when they get to this spot maybe baby the ball in a little bit too much, and they'll, overcut it a little bit or hit it a little bit in the rail and the ball hangs up. He's not doing that, and that's really good. He's got a little angle. He'll just punch across for the 8 in the same corner. Yep. Really good shot. Just stay off the cushion.
A little surprised. We haven't seen a break yet in this match, have we? Neither one of these guys taking a bathroom break?
No. Andrew had mentioned earlier
kind of the swings here. You might think it might take a minute to just kind of get away from the table, but not yet, at least.
Earlier, we would have said Greg needed to take a break, but now I think if Greg wins this game, Jason will probably want to go wash his hands and rinse his face and try and get himself settled here. But this is a big shot for Greg. Just floated in.
Nice.
That was a nice shot. And he's left-handed, so being on this side of the table is easier for him. So that's something to be of note. Nice smooth shot on the 9.
He's on the hill.
Perfect.
Right.
Well, no, it's 5-5.
Tied 5 apiece.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was looking through.
Yeah, so he retied the match. I think he's won 5 out of the last 6 racks. Or something to that effect. And
it was definitely all Jason in the early going, and then Greg's really turned it around. Made a great match for our viewers at home. And if you're just tuning in, you're watching U.S. Amateur Championship live here at Strokers, Palm Harbor, Florida.
Yeah, and I think that's an encouraging thing for Greg to take away from this match as well. Even, I know this is a one-loss side match, but even if he happens to lose the match, he can say he played a former champion, was down by a good margin, and came back and made a match of it, and that's something to build on.
That's a good point.
It's good experience.
He beat his former champion.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
his next opponent's going to feel it.
We're at a that was a great break, but this is a crucial junction of the match.
Oh, there you go.
He now has made, I think, the first really good break of the match that I've seen.
I think he's out.
He looks really good because everything connects to each other. He's got the 2 in the side, the 3 in the corner. He wants to be above the 5, And then as soon as he's above the 5, then it's natural position from the 6, and he's got to get from the 8 to the 9. So let's see how he handles this.
Yeah, watching him play 9-ball, it's surprising he decided to start in the 8-ball set. I mean, he's really dominated once they took a few balls off the table.
I really think it was nerves. He just wasn't.
Yeah.
He wasn't even pocketing the balls as well.
That was a good shot there. He hit that ball pretty good. And if he's going to favor a side of the 5, being a little high is where he wants to be, because it gives him natural position to just float down on the 6. Now, I think he would have liked to be a little bit maybe below the side pocket line here. If he would have been kind of like in this range, it's ideal. So he's a little bit far, but I think just a nice center ball, float the ball in, don't get a skid, don't overcut it. And he overcut it slightly. That's the danger of that shot. When you're a little bit further away and you got to slow roll the ball. It's really imperative to try and just make sure to pocket the ball and hit the center cup. So Jason gets a little bit of a reprieve, and we'll see if he can handle the run out. Now he got flat on the 6, and this is not ideal, right? Jason wanted to be somewhere above, in this area. Now this is the second time I've seen Jason get flat on the ball on the bottom cushion. That could have potentially given him some headaches. Now he's got to, use his talent a little bit and work the cue ball.
Made a good shot. Got out of there.
Sure, but now he's got to make another one.
Yeah. Yeah, you can.
He's got to come with another tough shot, and when the nerves are on, this is when you're susceptible to dogging it a little bit or, succumbing to the pressure. Not saying that he will. He's a good player, but, you're fighting for your tournament life, and it's a race to 2, and anything can happen when you put yourself in a position, to have to come with a tough shot. So it looks like he's hitting low and just wants to stun the ball across. That was a good shot. Got to avoid the scratch. Very dangerous. Very dangerous shot. I think he's happy to breathe a sigh of relief that he didn't scratch. I might have gone 3 cushions myself and just cut the ball in natural, playing with a bigger pocket and play speed for the other side of the 9, but he's got through it and missed the 9, and oh my gosh,
Get lucky here.
The 9. Oh my God,
he'll take it though. He'll take it. Puts him on the hill.
Yeah, wow. And Jason doesn't like that. I have actually seen Jason do that kind of thing kind of often. I'm not going to say he runs lucky, but I've seen him run a little lucky in close situations where it's like there's no way that happens. You know? And he seems to pull the rabbit out of the hat a little bit.
That's tough for Greg. He's going to have to regroup, try to even this thing back up. But that's the way it goes. Yeah. Greg had an opportunity as well and couldn't capitalize. So.
And that's the thing too. When he was a little high, a little far from the ball, and he tried to stun it in a little bit, and the ball tends to throw a little, so you got to kind of overcut to compensate. And he hit it right into the bottom cushion, but it caught the point and went cross side, and that's a little bit heartbreaking. But let's see what Jason does here. Sometimes the 9 goes on the snap. He scratches on the break. So now Greg's got a chance here. So I've seen this happen a lot too, where a guy has a chance to win. Let's say like Jason, right? And he breaks and scratches, and then the guy runs out, and then he breaks and makes the 9.
Yeah,
it happens all the time. You get so beat up. It's so brutal. The sport will really do.
And if it happens. Raymond called that.
Then I called it, correct. So we'll see. Okay, so interesting. Greg's taking a natural angle where he can just float the 2 in and come cross table. Right, just then cut on the side and try and get close here. I think we're going to see him come cross table again. He's got to be up, on the high side of the table here, above the side pocket line for the 4, or he might just float it in. Yeah, he kind of did it in between. So if we can get the overhead, we can kind of get an idea of what angle he has. Yeah, it's a little flat, so I think we're going to see him pop it in and try and go to the long cushion and then down to the bottom rail, which he did nicely.
I think that 6 to the 7 is going to be the 6, 7, 8 is going to be the tricky part of this.
To his credit, he hit that ball real comfortably. So I think he's still feeling good despite getting
rail first here.
I think he might have a little pocket just to go to the cushion and out. Yeah.
Watch that pocket.
Yeah, he's good. This is actually perfect. Yeah. That's a caliber shot actually.
Yeah, that's good.
To attack the short distance between the 6 and the side, avoid the 9 and get on the good side of the 6. That's a strong shot. A little draw here above the 7. If I was Greg, I'd make sure to chalk my cue. You don't want any weird business to happen. And here I'm just playing to make the 7, come cross table, and play the 8 in the opposite corner. This is real exciting. I'm kind of rooting for him to get on the hill. That was a real smooth shot.
Hill.
Notice how earlier he missed a shot kind of like that, and he hit it fat and punchy and stunned it into the rail. There was smooth stroke, delivery, let the angle do the work for him. That's really, really good quality cueing. 1 rail position off the back rail. Might use the second rail. He did, and he actually went 2 rails across.
He got perfect.
And got dead perfect. That was really nice. I'll tell you what, I kind of like Greg's end of it from here. Breaking into the hill game. Really exciting match this has turned into.
Yep, Hill nail biter. You guys picked a good one to come watch with us.
And a good show of sportsmanship there from Greg and Jason shaking hands in the double hill rack.
One rack.
I think that's one thing I really
See
like
if that 9 ball gets moving.
About this event. You see a lot of sportsmanship and camaraderie from the players.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think is indicative to the quality of not only players but people we have. You know, we have a lot of working class people who come here and just really love pool, and they represent themselves and their pool rooms and their areas pretty well. It's not often you see somebody who's just a jerk, you know.
Right.
So.
Well, I might play next year.
There you go. Hold your breath, y'all. All right, it's double hill. Greg's breaking. It looks like he's switched over to the left side here. He broke from the right side last time and had a perfect break. He's made the 1 on the side. Gets a little bump from the 4, keeps him off the back cushion. And, yeah, let's see what he decides to do here. It's a little congested coming off the left side. I wonder if he's going to go aggressive or try and play safe. I think here a prudent shot might be to bank the 2-1 rail to the Brunswick on the end cushion, maybe go into the 8 a little bit. Yeah.
Yep.
That's the shot, but he hit the 2 too hard. You got to play speed to lag the 2 to the cushion, and because if that 2 ball is in this area here and your cue ball is down here, then you've likely got safe.
I think he was playing to win the 9. I think he was just trying to make the 9.
I don't think he was playing the 9.
Really?
Yeah. No. The carom wasn't on. And here goes Jason again.
Wow.
I'm not kidding. He does. Really.
He's going to find you in the parking lot.
Yeah.
I mean, he needs a lesson. Jason, come on over to my house. I'll help you out. I mean, maybe I need a lesson.
He's shaking his head. Look,
maybe I need a lesson.
Yeah.
That's the second time he's 2-railed the ball on the side.
Sometimes you create your own luck.
He's going to come out with a training book, a PDF. We'll get him set up, and you guys can buy it online for $2.99.
Yeah. Might be your guys' next video project.
Maybe.
Mr. Lucky.
Holy cow.
He's got a system for lucking it in.
So here's the thing now. It's like everything's laying perfect, natural. He's got to get shape on the 5 in the side. And these 3 balls are all going to go in the bottom corner, you know. And, I mean, this is kind of brutal for Greg. I think he's played better and didn't deserve that. And, 2 lucky shots for Jason might keep him in the tournament.
Reminds me of a little documentary we did, Steve, called Luck Counts, right?
Luck Counts.
We did a Leprechaun video a couple years ago to reinforce that point.
I think Jason was born in the year of the rabbit. Okay, so now this is not great. He's flat, straight in, stretched out a little bit over the 8. It could have been really bad if he was over the 8.
Oh, I think he's fine.
Yeah, but, it would be way finer if he was, if he got his cue ball out to this area.
Yeah, of course.
Where he's got natural position to go 1 rail to the middle. Now he can play the 8 and the 9 here, and everything is, there's no considerations, Yeah. But now he can still cue the ball okay, but he's going to have to play underneath the 8. And now he's got to make a shot, and sometimes you can jar a ball, you can hit, you can undercut it, you can get funny. But Jason's just got to know that this is the match-winning ball for him, and he's just got to float it in there, nice smooth stroke, and give himself a chance to absorb the pocket there. Yep, good shot from Jason.
There we go.
Got to the second cushion, and he's going to escape this match with a win. Jason's a good player, and he's, grinding it out a little bit. And that was a good match.
So Jason Richko will pick up a big win. He will continue on in this year's U.S. Amateur Championship. Greg is going to head home a little disappointed there, but so is life, as we all know, on the pool table. And
sometimes you just have to take the worst of it.
Yeah.
That's what Donnie
Well,
said.
thanks for having us.
Yeah,
do
gentlemen,
this.
thanks for
Yeah.
joining us again. Andrew Cleary, Raymond Linares. Encourage you folks to check out their pool documentary, The Great Unknown. We appreciate you guys jumping in the booth with us and hopefully had some fun. Folks, we'll be back in just a few minutes with our next match. Thanks for joining us.